Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Detroit Tigers franchise mode here in MLB The Show 21. So last episode we started up the season simulation, and we also had the first year draft, and while we're 27 and 22 so far, it's pretty solid. We are currently still behind the Indians in our division, but we're off to a pretty good start this season. Now, the main problem with our team so far has been our pitching, surprisingly enough, as if we go to like our bullpen players, for example, guys like Kristen Franco are really struggling in the bullpen, and then also guys like Ray Sierra, Jeremy Grubb, they're all not doing too good either. It could also be because we do have some weaker starting pitchers this year. We have McGrath, who's has a 5.08 ERA right now, but he's actually not been terrible apparently as of late. Scott James has been okay, and then the rest of the pitchers have been pretty solid for the most part, but our pitching just hasn't been as good as it used to be for some weird reason. Also, guys like, who is it? Sammy Chavez is kind of off to a bad start because of his ERA. But hopefully this team can turn it around in terms of pitching, because that's kind of what we need to get going. Like, if we look at our team statistics currently in team rankings, we're a really good batting average team currently. But if we go to stuff like, for example, or is it ERA? We are all the way like down here, I think it was, yeah, at 25th. So we definitely need to get our ERA better and start playing a little bit better defensively. But offensively, we're off to a really good start, which is good. So we might end up making a trade to bring in another relief pitcher or a new relief pitcher to kind of make our team a little bit better in terms of the bullpen and whatnot, because once we play better in terms of pitching, which we should be already playing better at pitching, then we are going to be a really good team. Because as you can see, we're first in contact, 7th in power, 4th in pitching. So I don't understand why our pitching's not doing too good. But our defense is still not great at 20th, and our speed is at 12th. I've never been able to get that defensive rating up super high, so that might be our problem. Yeah, the AI signed us in the offseason, Cameron Meisner, who is a very solid defensive player in terms of like his outfielding and whatnot. So hopefully he could help us down the stretch in terms of playing good defensive baseball, and hopefully we could win a lot of games down the stretch and make the playoffs like we should do. Because if we don't make the playoffs in this episode, then this would end up being the final episode, which we don't really want to have that happen. So anyways, let's get started and maybe make a trade for a relief pitcher, because there was a trade I was potentially looking at. If we go to the trading block, which I don't know if it's still there. Where is the damn trading block in this game? I don't know where it is. Oh, let's just go to trade talks. There was a guy, I think it was, what team was it? I looked at him in last episode. There was like a reliever that was not making a whole lot of money, so we could actually afford him. Actually, we may not be able to afford him because our budget's in the negatives. Yeah, so I don't know if we're going to be able to actually make a trade though. Oh, I think it was the Brewers. Yeah, it was Steven Fuentes we were looking at, because he's only making 570K, and this guy's off to a pretty good start in terms of the bullpen. So we could try and trade for him, but I really don't know what they would want for him. So I could include MLB ready players. They would take Kiki McKenna straight up, which is not bad. Daz Cameron, Jeremy Grubb. We might get rid of Grubb, because Grubb's usually pretty terrible. I'm not doing Valdez and Cannon for sure. Yeah, I think the Jeremy Grubb for Steven Fuentes trade makes sense, because Jeremy Grubb is currently... let's just go back on this and go to Jeremy Grubb. Jeremy Grubb has been not that great so far. He is in our lineup. He's got really bad ERA, really bad whip, and then his FIP rating is not that good. Like, he's having a worse season than last year even, so... yeah, I think we're going to give Jeremy Grubb to them straight up for Fuentes and kind of just flip the two into them, and hopefully Fuentes could help us out in terms of our bullpen a little bit more. So we are going to offer that trade, and that will be accepted. So Steven Fuentes is now a member of your Detroit Tigers, and hopefully that helps us out in our bullpen like I was mentioning. So let's just see. So Fuentes is now our #1 reliever. I think that definitely should help us. And then starting pitcher wise, or well, actually Sierra's still going to be a reliever, but he was the better of the two. So now if we look at our pitching rotation, once I can get actually into that screen, because the screen's moving too quickly. We got these guys as our starters, then Sierra, Fuentes, Mayer, Franco. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Now, Franco, we could always trade away as well because he is dropping off a lot and he is having a terrible year. But I hope that he can maybe turn it around a little bit. His FIP rating is way worse than it has ever been. So maybe we want to find another one for another reliever that we could afford. Yeah, let's actually take a look at more trades potentially because I want to get that bullpen as good as possible going into the playoffs. So if we go suggest trade and MLB ready, we're looking for another relief pitcher if possible. So it doesn't seem like there's any good relievers right now. There's some starting pitchers that might be okay. Yeah, so some of these guys are starting pitchers. They might be decent, but they are pretty old. I'd have to look at their stats, to be honest. Who's the best in terms of... Oh, there's a relief pitcher that's a 73 and a shortstop. I don't really need the shortstop, though. But, I mean, I could look at that trade from the Athletics. So, Wandison Charles. But he's 36. I would probably go with someone younger. Maybe, like, this Omar Roca guy. I don't know why I just said I lost connection to the online servers, but whatever. So, Omar Roca might be an interesting one. Let's take a look at him on the Phillies. So he is a starting pitcher, and we need to go to the Phillies because Omar Roca is good. He might be what we want to trade for. There he is, 76. He is playing currently in AAA, I think. He did play pretty good last year. Yeah, he played actually really good last year, so I think I'll do that trade straight up. Franco for Roca, and see if they will accept that deal. That's accepted as well. So there you go, another guy that to bring into our pitching rotation that I think could help us out. We will also, yeah, he already got called up, which is good. Yeah, we're good on now in terms of our bullpen. I think we're set up pretty solid. Okay, so yeah, now we have Fuentes, Mayer, and we have Roca who's added in. Sierra's also a reliever, but I think we're a little bit better in terms of our pitching now. Hopefully that helps us out. But yeah, let's continue to simulate up to All-Star Week now and see how this team performs. And more than likely, we should make the playoffs unless we suffer like a huge blow of an injury. Because we're killing it right now. We're having a long-ass winning streak, but then we lost a couple games. As we go up to All-Star Week, let's just continue on. A few more games. And there we go. So we are 57 and 33. Wow, we had a really good stretch of games there. And we're now first in our division, which is great to see. They did send down some players, but... wait, let me just make sure everybody's still in the right spot. Did they send down one of those guys I traded for? They did. No, they didn't. Okay, he just dropped off in overall. But Fuentes, since coming in, has probably helped us out a lot, which is good, I would assume. Or maybe just our offense started getting a little bit better as we approach the All-Star break. What else we got here for notifications? Injured list. Yoder's injured. Colvin's still out. And Huffman, nobody that really matters that much. So that's okay. But, let's see. Oh yeah, we also got our draft picks to sign still. Or to offer that we already offered. Most of them contracts, I think. Yeah, those other guys I won't offer to, but let's get into the All-Star stuff and just see who made the All-Star game and whatnot. So we win our game before the All-Star break as well. Home Run Derby, do we have anybody going to the All-Star game for the Home Run Derby this year? No, we do not, but who's there is Julio Rodriguez, Emil Navarro, Lucan Baker, Cody Jose, Blake Sable, Austin Riley, Rick Telshaw, and Chad Spangberger. Interesting. Let's sim through that. And then we'll take a look at the actual All-Star game to see who made it for our team. Hopefully we have some good representatives. Let's just go play a full game just to see who's there. Okay, so in terms of pitching, who made it for us? Looks like Diego Corona made it as a closer, which is great to see. Obviously, he is getting a little bit older and he's starting to drop off a bit, but he is still a really good closer. He has made it to the All-Star game. And then in terms of batting-wise, Robbie Harvey has made the All-Star game, which is awesome. I think he made it last year as well. So back-to-back All-Star game appearances for Robbie Harvey. And then in terms of the bench, we don't have anybody, I think. Oh, Cameron Meisner made it. That's good to see. Cameron Meisner making it since the AI signed him for us. But yeah, only 3 All-Star representatives this year, but that's still a pretty good representation, I would say, for our organization. And yeah, let's continue simulating and get the rest of the season done with, because yeah, we are probably going to make the playoffs with the way we just simulated in that month, as long as we just don't suffer anything big in terms of injuries, because that's what's kind of held us back the last few years, is we've had kind of injuries at the wrong time. No thank you, I don't want to stop simulating. Okay, trade deadline prep. Wow. And Matthew McGrath is off to a really good start in his career. Like, this is a really good rookie year from him. Let's get rid of these notifications. He might end up winning like a rookie of the year. I don't know if he's up for the nominees and stuff like that, but he's having a really good year in terms of pitching. He's up to an 82 overall now. He's 11-6 with a 3.67 ERA and a 1.31 WHIP. Hopefully he can continue that till the end. But yeah, he's having a pretty good rookie year. Well, like, actually, it's not really, I guess, a rookie year, because he was a reliever last year, so he might not be considered as a rookie. But this is his first year as an actual starting pitcher, so that's good to see. And then Steven Fuentes is still doing really good as a reliever, so hopefully he could help us out in our playoff run that we are going to have. Injured list, nobody important right now. We aren't going to do anything about the contract extensions, because the contract extensions, actually, I should probably do some of these, because some of these guys will end up going right to off-season stuff. I don't even know if I have enough money to offer some of these guys contracts. Rick Plummer, let's just talk you down. Actually, I'll do a 1-year deal just to get these guys on for cheap. But eventually some of these guys would be locked up long-term if we were to do more seasons. So that is good. Mark Sullivan is also a decently cheap option if we go to 3 years. But yeah, we're having a really good year so far, and hopefully that continues into the playoffs, because we've had really good seasons in the last few years, but we've been knocked out by the Blue Jays multiple times, which is not fun. So we'll do 8.6. That is good. All these other guys I could probably wait on for now, actually, except for Vargas, because he's a part of this future. We'll do a 4-year deal. We'll talk him down to a little as possible, even though he has a really good batting average this year. So Vargas is definitely stepping up, because that batting average is actually pretty crazy. To have a 344 batting average through 250 at bats, that's pretty nuts. Increase the salary. Let's just go to 9 mil. There you go. And yeah, as I said, the rest of these guys I could kind of just wait on for now. I mean, I should sign some of these guys, but I'll wait on them till the offseason, because, alright, you guys won't even get to see the offseason regardless anyways, but yeah, I don't think we're going to be making any more trades here at the deadline. Yeah, we're looking good enough. We're going to continue to simulate. Let's sim 2 contract extensions. But yeah, hopefully we just keep healthy for the rest of the season and have a good run in the playoffs. No, I don't want to stop simulating. Don't really care about the trade deadline anymore. Okay, so let's get rid of these notifications again, since they like to notify us pretty often. We do have an injury again, but whoever is actually, no, it's just Lee Jin Chu, who's a 40-year-old that's in our system apparently. I guess the AI must assign him to us in the offseason. But our defense has gotten improved actually since the start of this episode. Went from 20th to 16th, so I don't know if that's because of the new pitchers, but we're 66-35. And we probably are like first place in the entire MLB, I would assume. Let's continue to simulate. But this might end up being one of our best seasons yet, potentially, because of that giant win streak we had a couple months back. We do have a lot of losses recently. We are now 83-47. Jeez. Yeah, this is definitely going to be our best season. Like, we almost probably have a playoff spot clinched already at this point, which is pretty nuts, if I'm not mistaken. Like, if we go to our injured list quickly, okay, nobody important, which is good. We are currently, we're currently the best team in the baseball right now by a couple wins. The Dodgers are close by as well, though. But yeah, we're off to a really good start, or we're had a good start so far. September call-ups, we do got to call up some September guys, so we will call up Hinton probably. Yeah, we'll call up Hinton, and we'll probably call up Vince Means maybe, but he'd go back through waivers. I'll definitely call up Hinton because Hinton is one of our top prospects, and he has actually been really good down there in AAA. I really wanted to play him this year, but he's going to get moved to the MLB. And then anybody else that we want to call up? Maybe we'll call up... Should we call up Colby Wyatt? How has Colby Wyatt been down there? Because maybe we could use him as like a reliever. Not very good. I'll call up whoever has been the best so far. So Means and then Yoder maybe would be an interesting one. Not that we really need a shortstop. But then again, Means is also a shortstop. Vince Means has not been terrible down there, but I know he's not good usually when he gets called up. We're going to call up DeMarcus Yoder. He's never been up here really, so we'll call him up down the stretch and see if he could do some pretty good stuff for us as well. And let's continue to simulate the rest of the season because I think we're probably close to clinching the playoff spot at this rate. And yeah, hopefully we could win some more games, and hopefully Hinton can be pretty good. And we're on a bad losing streak, but we're going to bounce back with a good winning streak, which is good. We're now 90-54, so we're very close to clinching more than likely. Or we should have already clinched, I would assume. Because once you get like to 90 wins, that's close to like clinch territory. So we did have an injury to Omar Roca, who we traded for, which is a pretty big blow. Because he wasn't off to a good start really with us, but he separates his shoulder, which means we're going to have a different reliever up here in terms of the playoffs, but that's a really big loss. We have a couple players with shoulder separations. A lot of long-term injuries, which is not good, but it is what it is. Let me just take a look at our pitching, just make sure. We could always call up White as that replacement, but I guess somebody already must have got called up. Oh yeah, Eric Miller got called up. But it looks like he's been pretty good in that one inning he played, so let's get the rest of this regular season done with. Go through it here. But yeah, hopefully Eric Miller could be a good reliever. So it looks like our other teams have made it down there in triple and double. We are now 96-60. I don't think we've ever broke 100 wins in this series so far, so it'd be nice if we could. Eduardo Cortez was injured, but he is back right away, which is good, because if he was out for the playoffs, that would be a major loss, because this guy's pretty good. He has dropped off to an 84 randomly, though, which is really questionable. Yikes. Yeah, if he ends up retiring this year, that would really suck. But yeah, hopefully he can play good in the playoffs. Let's get these last few games done. And we are not going to break 100 wins, but we do finish 98-64, which is pretty good. I don't know if I can see the regular season stats still. Yes, I can. Okay, good. So we'll take a look at that. We do also have some awards. So let's take a look at our player stats for the season. So we will go to statistics and player stats. So for our positional players, the best in terms of runs was Luis Garcia. He scored 94 runs. Harvey Meisner up there as well with 80 plus. Montenegro. Interesting. And then in terms of hits, Robbie Harvey had the most hits. No wonder he made the All-Star game. He actually was really good. Batting at 289. Had over 100 RBIs. Only 21 home runs. But over 100 RBIs is always nice to see. Garcia is also up there in terms of hits. Mark Sullivan had a really good year as well. 78 RBIs. This is his first full season. But yeah, his batting average is great. I really like Mark Sullivan. Home run wise, Carmen Nunez had 33 home runs this year. He still hasn't been able to put up as much home runs as he had when he had 37, but he is still a very solid player. Next closest was Montenegro, Meisner. RBI wise was Harvey, but we did have a lot of guys with 50 plus RBIs. Stolen bases was Luis Garcia, then Gary Hera and Pierre Montenegro. Batting average was Vargas with a 320 batting average, which is really good through 450 at-bats. Meisner up there with the 307, so two guys batting over 300. And then also a lot of other guys really close by in terms of like the 280s and 290s. And then OPS, Pierre Montenegro had the best with a 913. Vargas is up there, but a lot of guys above 800, which I think is pretty good. And then we also want to check maybe WAR. Yeah, might as well check WAR. So Luis Garcia was by far our best player, but a lot of guys in the plus war, which is good. And then we want to go to our pitchers. Matthew McGrath had a fantastic season. This guy is looking pretty good. I don't know if it's because our team is good, but he went 17-8 this year, which I believe 17 wins is like our team record for this actual franchise mode I'm doing. But a 3.77 ERA and a 1.25 WHIP, that's really good. Dennis Tucker was up there also with 14 wins. David Jordan had 12 wins. Ray Sierra had 12 wins, which is pretty good. I believe we used him as like he was used as a reliever, I thought, though. Maybe not. Scott James was really good, 10 wins. Chauncey really struggled this year in terms of winning games, but he also had a really good ERA and WHIP, so I'm okay with that. Diego Corona was really good. But in general, our pitching seemed to improve a lot since the start of this episode. Best ERA on our team was Eric Miller, but he was a reliever, so best by a starter was Chauncey with a 3.29. The worst by a starter on our team was Scott James with a 3.95. So pitching definitely improved. And then worst WHIP by a starter was Matthew McGrath with a 1.25. Wow. And the best starting pitcher in terms of WHIP was Chauncey with a 1.10. Chauncey might have won another Cy Young, but then again, the win-loss ratio is not great. And then in terms of FIP rating, let's see how good the FIP ratings are, because that's important. So FIP-wise, for our starters especially, Dennis Tucker, 3.5 is great. Chauncey, 3.59 is great. David Jordan, 3.7 is great. 3.78 for Mayer is great. And Matthew McGrath had a 4.49, so he's helped a little bit by the offense, it seems like, but he was still pretty solid. I think our pitching is better than it's ever been, which is kind of weird considering we had better overalls last season. We had like Casey Mize. So not a bad year for pitching. Let's take a look at our team rankings, and then we'll take a look at those awards and then see who we're up against in the ALDS. So we were the first best team in batting average by quite a large margin. We had a 277 batting average. The next closest was Cleveland with a 270. And then they're actually in our division, which is kind of scary to an extent. What else we got here? We were first in runs by 7 runs with a 789 runs scored. Hit-wise, we were the best hitting team, so we're just like the best offensive team, it seems like, in terms of that. Double-wise, though, we scored 271, which was tied for 10th, which is actually not too bad. Triples, we were tied for 9th, so yeah, just really good offensively. Except for, actually, home runs are up there as well, tied for 7th. First in runs batted in. Stolen bases, we were 2nd. Yeah, we're just really good offensively. And hopefully our pitching's up there as well now, because it was near the bottom of the league when we started this episode, remember? So, see how far we've come. But yeah, really good offensive stats. Granted, a double play is something that still has been a problem for this team. Though it looks like, yeah, we're 24th, so we still ground into a lot of double plays. But we still have the best batting average in the league. And then in terms of pitching, pitching ERA-wise, looks like we still struggled in terms of pitching, apparently. Yeah, we still struggled in terms of pitching, which I think is kind of ridiculous because we all had a lot of 3 ERAs. But we were still finished 24th in the league, so we didn't really improve in terms of pitching. You know, it looked like we did. Tied for 5th in complete games, though. Shutouts, we were 2nd, so despite it not like having a good ERA, we still put up a lot of shutouts, a lot of saves. So it looks like our bullpen actually might not be that bad. So strikeouts, I don't think we'll be up there. And yeah, win percentage, we were the 2nd best team in the league. Yeah, it looks like we finished behind the Dodgers. If we look at the standings, we finished 98-64, so almost broke 100 wins. The Rangers were up there as well with 97-65. And yeah, the Dodgers finished first in the entire league with 101 wins in 61 losses. But we are the 2nd best team in the entire league. The Rangers are 3rd, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, we went 41-35 against our division, 49-32 on home field, 49-32 on the road, so the exact same. 45-28 in day games, and 53-36 in night games. Interesting. Let's take a look at those awards, and then we'll take a look at who we are playing. So Robbie Harvey is going to win the Golden Gloves, so that's the only award we get, but good to see Robbie Harvey win an award. Let's just go through the rest of the league. So MVP, Julio Rodriguez, who's a real player. What else you got here? Cy Young went to Claudio Castro. Any guys nominated for awards for us? Alberto Vargas almost won the batting title, but Wander Franco with that 3.27 ERA is going to win it. Any other guys nominated for us? That's more what we're looking for. Vargas was up there for the Hank Aaron Award, which is good to see. Scott James was up there for the Golden Glove for pitching. Vargas was also up there for Golden Glove for first baseman. Eduardo Cortez up there for Gold Glove for second base. And Robbie Harvey won that Golden Glove for left field. And I think that's probably almost going to be it, right? Silver Slugger for outfield. Robbie Harvey was up there. That's good to see. He was also out there for the other outfield one, apparently. Or did he get one? I don't know. Yeah, he might have gotten one. I don't know. And yeah, that's pretty much all the awards. Now we find out who we are going to be playing against in the ALDS, which is either going to be Minnesota or Oakland. We played Oakland last year, I think it was. And yeah, it was an easy win. The winner of it will play either Tampa Bay or Texas. So Toronto did not make the playoffs, which is a very big yes moment for our team because we've run into problems with them a lot of times. So let's see who wins it between Minnesota and Oakland, and that's who we're going to be playing in the first round. It's going to be Oakland. So we have a rematch with the Oakland Athletics, who knock out the Twins in the wild card game. And then the winner of this series will face either Tampa Bay or Texas, which is probably going to be a tough team regardless because Texas had a really good year. Then the winner of that would face either the winner of Pittsburgh and Miami and San Diego and LA, whoever wins out of the two of those series and win against each other. So that's interesting over there. Let's take a quick look at what the Oakland Athletics roster looks like, and then that will be it for this episode. It probably looks pretty similar to what we played them against a few years ago, but there is their starting pitchers. Actually, we should look at by pitching rotation and stuff. It looks a lot better that way. So we actually can see how they're situated. So this is their pitching core. They still have Casilla, Irizarry, Caraballo, I believe was there last time we played them, Cabrera, and Barreto. So yeah, really good starting pitching core. Reliever-wise, they have Max Sandberg, Thad Ward, Wanderson Charles, Scott Sinich, Rocky Taylor, and Freddie Chavez, and Victor Vodnik. So that's their pitching. It looks pretty good. A little bit scared of that. And in terms of their batting rotation, let's see this, or not rotation really, but batting lineup. They have Todd Hackett, they have Gavin Lux still, they have Rob Morrow, Luis Robert, Riley Green, who I believe was with us at the beginning, right? No, it was a different Green that was. Vern Mathis, Chad Hirsch is over there. Oh man. Of course we have to face former player Chad Hirsch. He was there last year, I guess, when we played them in the playoffs, or maybe it was a few years ago we played them, I don't know. But he's over there. He had actually a pretty solid year, 15 home runs from him. Kind of wish we kept him over Bronson Bonner. They also have Joe Rizzo and Xavier Edwards, so a pretty solid team for the most part. And then benching-wise, Sam Brown, Aradis Adaman, Ray Carew, and then Bryce Terang and John Lowe. So in terms of like contact hitting, looks like they have some pretty good contact hitters and power hitters as well. Maybe not as much power, but a lot more contact. So it should be an interesting matchup. Let me just take a quick look at how they did in the standings by comparison to us. So they went, what division? Oh, they're 91 and 71, which is interesting. They went 46 and 30 against the division. What are they ranked in terms of stuff? They're 8th in contact, 13th in power, 5th in pitching, 14th in defense, and 15th in speed. Well, we're 1st in contact, 9th in power, 7th in pitching, 13th in defense, and 6th in speed. Should be an interesting matchup regardless, and hopefully we could win that one, because then we would take on Texas or Tampa. Probably Texas, I would assume. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Detroit Tigers franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the ALDS against Oakland. It might end up being the final episode. Hopefully it's not. And yeah, hopefully we could have a good playoff run this year and maybe go to a World Series to end it off. So let me know what you guys think down below. And I'll see you guys next time.